Welcome everybody back to the Weekly Source. Excited to have you and very excited for our guest today. If you were at Eclipse last year, you saw him speak in a closing keynote, and we've got him here on the Weekly Source. So we've got Andy Neary, business coach, co-founder of Major League Mindset. You're doing keynote speaking, obviously virtual now, podcast hosting, best-selling author, all the cool things that you want to be a part of. But hey, Andy, welcome to the Weekly Source.
Hey, Neil, I am excited to be on the show. Thank you. And I got to tell you, man, that PlanSource Eclipse was probably the best industry event I've ever been to.
You definitely closed it on a high note as well. But for the folks that either weren't at Eclipse or don't see you, in your content on LinkedIn, you mind just kind of giving them a quick intro on yourself and kind of what you're doing today?
Yeah. I tell people I am a failed salesman turned health insurance advisor turned coach and a little bit of an entrepreneur. Been in the health insurance industry for 17 years. So I still have a book of business that I consult with. But in the last 14 months, I also launched my coaching business. It's business coaching, but really what it is, Neil, is helping people share their voice, create their message for their target audience, and create a plan to share it far and wide. Because to win today, it's like what I had to do as an advisor. To win today, you've got to grab attention.
So how, I guess, for you specifically, as you started to see that shift, right, in attention, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of where you're grabbing attention today is on LinkedIn, but I think anecdotally, like, where did you see that start to work for yourself and kind of where do you see it going?
Great question. So I'll tell a quick story. I started my professional career in baseball, right? I was a professional baseball player 20 years ago. And that was all about grabbing attention, right? You wanted to grab the scouts' attention. You wanted to get the attention of the people above you that could promote you. And I failed at that. And I failed at it early in my business career. But what happened was I was hired by a small independent insurance agency, and they had no marketing plan. And now here I am sitting in a market, nobody knows who I am, right? And so it was May of 2014 where I realized, okay, not only do I have to grow a personal brand, but I have to have a really good message for my audience. I have to know who I'm going after. And then I have got to create a system where I am putting that message everywhere. And even today, Neil, and this message might be more for the broker, I see too many brokers far too often when I ask them, like, what's your plan to share your message? Today, it's still, I cold call. And I sit there and I have a hard time understanding that in 2020, with all the technology we have, the ability we have to put ourselves out there, your number one strategy is to pick up a phone and call one prospect that doesn't know who the heck you are and hope they'll take a meeting with you, when you could actually be sharing your message and putting it on an email list to get it out to get out in front of hundreds of people. You could put a great content on social media and have thousands of eyeballs see it, or do webinars and get all your prospects to come. And so today it goes back to that game of attention. You've got to have the ability to take that clear message of yours and put it out there as much as you can, because that is how you're going to create the awareness you need to grow your business.
I like it. There was some stat about, the number of impressions somebody sees in a typical day. I think it was around 4,000 impressions, literally from waking up, checking your phone, and back in the normal time, driving to work, seeing either billboards or listening on your radio. Like that's what you're competing with when you talk about attention. You mix
there's
that
noise.
with
There's noise
span.
everywhere.
So talk about, I guess, sticking with the broker audience, and a lot of us are looking internal, either as sales reps or brokers, producers, and seeing now it's more virtual, right? We're all remote. You and I are doing this. We're not in person at Eclipse. We're doing it online now. What are some takeaways, I guess, for a broker or producer that's saying, okay, how do I do that today, or have that self-awareness that whether it's video or email, or where do I kind of fit into the mold best?
There's definitely some things you can do to stand apart from your competition, because there are more brokers today talking to their clients and their prospects, just like you and I are, versus in person, right? Number one, you have to have good camera presence. So I'll give you an example. If people are watching this is good tactical tips, and I'm actually going to stand up. When you are in a virtual meeting, let's pretend it's you and I having a meeting, you're my prospect or client. If I'm doing the meeting like this, I'm sending the subliminal message to you that I'm more important than you, because I'm looking down at you. If I go like this, where a lot of people do their cameras like this, that's telling me I'm submissive to you. And people don't realize all the subliminal messages you're sending out on camera. The other big tip for brokers, if they're doing virtual meetings, whatever you, and more for agencies having internal meetings, whatever your meeting was in person, cut it in half virtually. So if you're normally having an hour internal meeting on Mondays, make it a half hour. If you're trying to get a prospect on a Zoom chat, make it 10 minutes, because you don't realize the energy suck that is coming out of a Zoom chat, and it's draining. And you're able to get more done in less time when you're cutting your meetings down. And I tell brokers to do that anyways.
I like it. So it's tactical stuff people can try internally and start to bring that externally. I mean, when you're thinking about, either thought leadership content, no, it's a buzzword, but when you start to think about things that you want to share your voice on, or you have an opinion on, I mean, what are some tactical takeaways? Say I'm a broker out there and I've got opinions on what's happening in ACA or, HIPAA legislation, things like that. I mean, how do I put ideas into practice? I mean, you got anything for a broker there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I sometimes I get in trouble with what I say here, Neil, but I always tell brokers, not everything that comes out of your mouth has to have an agent of record tied to it. So right. give, and give. Whether it's on social media, a webinar, your email campaigns, bring value to the people on the list or the people on social media. Teach something, share something. I urge people to create your own content. So if you're going to type an email to your list, type it out like it actually sounds like it's coming from you. The industry is so stuck in that everything I say should come with some kind of take. Now, the game has changed. He or she who communicates and educates and shares the most wins.
That's a great message. I think, the give and take, like there's literally some folks that have those fields in Salesforce of like, what are our gives and gets? And, I think it's good to take that step away sometime and just like, where is the value add here? Are they finding me reputable before they think it's time for us to go and find a new broker? So that's a great point there. I mean, how would you position that? So a lot of our audience, yes, we've got the brokers. I think we hit on that, but somebody who's an HR leader and they're seeing some of the tactical things, camera presence. I mean, how do you take these kind of outbound, there's potential prospects in there, to an HR leader that's saying, hey, I've got my team, recruiting aside, what are some things that they can be doing now in the new?
Oh man,
new
I think
normal,
it just goes to running virtual meetings. So if we're talking to the HR professional, it's running a meeting. You and I are looking at Zoom where there's just two boxes, right? It's you and it's I, you and me. Sometimes they'll have a team meeting where there's 14 people, 14 boxes, right? On Zoom. And it's so interesting what you don't realize when you're hosting a meeting or running a meeting virtually. If you're in a conference room, the same 14 people are in the room and there's a side conversation going on in the back, it may not even phase you, right? If you're up in the front. But on Zoom, if there's 14 boxes here and all I have to do is go like this,
right.
I just threw everybody off.
Checking down into your phone.
Just threw everybody off, right? You can't, the distractions are so high on Zoom, unlike it was when we were in person. As an HR professional running team meetings on Zoom, it's kind of the same strategy with brokers. And I would tell you, please give your team the space to take breaks throughout the day.
Right.
When they're at home, they are battling the nuances of being a wife, a husband, a mom, a dad, a dog owner like we are. And then when you're on Zoom, again, that energy drain that's coming from Zoom is more than you can imagine. I think the stat I heard, Neil, is people on average with this lockdown were working 3 hours more per day. So you've got people working from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m, actually not getting anything done because they're just drained and exhausted and they're just sitting in front of their laptop. As an HR director or professional, I'd say make sure your team is performing at the highest it can be, which means keep meetings short. Don't have meetings for the sake of having meetings. Keep people lively and give them the space to take breaks throughout the day.
I love it. Those are great. I think it's enough tactical, pieces somebody can go and take and start to implement. I think getting feedback from their team on what works best is something we're doing here at PlanSource that I appreciate as well. But hey, Andy, appreciate you as always, the partnership with PlanSource. Next year, fingers crossed, we'll get you out actually in person, but always appreciate you popping by.
Oh, likewise. You guys are doing awesome stuff, man. Keep it up.
Awesome. Thanks, Neri.